this effort. So decision making, those who make public policies, take into consideration the magnitude and transcendency of palliative care. A severe problem that we have is coverage and gap between the offer and supply, but we need to take into consideration factors such as overpopulation, aging, increase of non-transmissible conditions, and migration. Migration in itself, not as a problem, but because the country is not prepared to deal with more people arriving. We have other problems in fragmentation of health services, duplicity, and a differential offer of services where we don't consider, in some occasions, the palliative care. We should move towards social protection in health, financial protection, management, quality, education, portability, service exchange, and that our look in the social aspect and health should go together hand by hand so we can value people, volunteers, and interventions that we should do in palliative care. In 3 minutes, I will present what we have worked in palliative care in Brazil. I insist that we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We have worked with the Ministry of Health as well as with the large institutions throughout the country in order to have this policy following the best recommendation from WHO. With regard to palliative care, can be done as a primary health care that provides care for most of the people, and this is important to disseminate culture of treating the most complex cases. So, understanding that in Brazil we have some major problems, we have a health system that is focused or centered in the hospital, in the ICUs and ERs, and we have specialized groups of high quality. And there are new equipments, new teams that are being trained without following any regulation, and they don't comply with minimal quality standards. And now we have a low resource because of the major crisis that we are facing. So what we propose to the Ministry of Health is a policy of Chinese sticks. It's to choose the easiest one, the simplest one. There's no money, so we do what's more simple. We understand that the most simple is the first step: regulation, orientation, and measurement. Then we have a second step, which could be to invest in our budget. So the first step stands for 4 pillars: to establish the competence of palliative care in the general area for all professionals in health, to establish and define what will be a specialized palliation care equipped team and what are their competence and qualities. Create a registry in the Ministry of Health so the specialized teams can comply with minimal standards required for registration. And once they're registered, these teams could issue a procedures code. Therefore, the Ministry of Health is going to be able to supervise and evaluate the impact. And then we can discuss the budget. This policy has support of the most important leaders on the palliative care teams of the country. And their major institutional leadership in health, which includes Tania Pastrana, who has formally supported us. And we also have large institutions by Eliana Steve O'Connor. And next week, we're going to have a final vote, and this includes the Ministry of Health, the National Council of Health Secretaries, and the National Council of Municipality Secretaries. And this is the last instance in which we can vote, and if everything works out, we will be able to say that we're going to have a national policy for palliative care in Brazil. Well, this graph we've seen before, and we want not only to work as a team, but we want to work between teams, in always having in the center the patient in the center. Thank you for your attention.